What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Tretch in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray, this Dope Living TV Live. Let me start by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. It's gang fight getting ready to go down, y'all. I'm up here at Brown Skin Coffee Tea and Wine. Gang fight getting ready to go down, Gina. I don't know what to do, man.
Maybe I should have came up to Brown Skin. Well, I tried to come up to Brown Skin. They shut the door on me. They locked me out, y'all.
I got off the highway came here because I knew I wasn't going to have time to set up anywhere else. So we good. What's going on?
We good. You know, we always good.
What up, Mark?
Well, yeah, neither one of you told me you guys were going to try to be up there.
No,
Come on, stop. You guys didn't tell anyone you were trying to get up there. I could have come straight from the highway, too.
Did not know.
My business up there wasn't his business up there.
But anyway, man, welcome to the show, man. We are continuing this week with the authors that are subscribed to and are going to be part of the Distinguished Authors Guild celebration November the 10th. What is it? I keep saying Studio 54, but where is it at?
Theater 47.
It's one
you
of them
just added some numbers to it.
Theater 47.
You done added 7 more numbers.
It's at Theater 47. It's going to be a great time. If you haven't gone to any of them, okay, been in Vegas for the past 4 years, okay, now brought it back so that everybody locally, to where, you know, we're all from Gary, Indiana. We live in different places. We're from Gary, Indiana. So we brought it back so that people can come this way. This time the big ones is out in Vegas and California and Atlanta and wherever, Georgia and all of them places. They gotta come here. They gotta come here.
We might end up there one year. Let's just see how God leads us.
Amen.
It's growing. Linda says, hello, everyone, from the great city of Montgomery, Alabama.
All right now.
Hey,
come on.
Dr. Holloway.
Well, I love her books. That's Miss London.
Yes.
So, yeah, man. So tonight we got a couple of authors on that are going to grace us with their story, tell us about their books, and let us know how it feels to be nominated for a Distinguished Authors Guild Award. Gina, take over, man.
Yes, first, let's talk about where to get your tickets.
Let's go.
Tickets so that you can join.
Chicago in Northwest Indiana. Get ready for an epic night to remember. We are honoring the past and awarding the future. The Distinguished Authors Guild presents its 5th annual Literary Award Show and VIP Gala. Sunday, November 10th at Theater 47, 350 Victory Drive in Park Forest, Illinois. Proceeds from ticket sales go towards scholarships for first-year creative writing college students. This is a black tie event. Purchase your tickets now at eventbrite.com, keyword Distinguished Authors Guild. For more information, call 219-742-4305. That's 219-742-4305. And remember, everything that glitters is gold.
All right.
Everything that
glitters is
gold.
First and foremost, everything. So, you know what? Ladies are going to be beautiful in their gold evening gowns. The men are going to represent them by their side, their children, their family, whoever they bring with them. They're going to look good next to these authors because when they step out, they step out. We have the Champagne Gala from 4 to 6. And then from 6:30 to 8, we have the award show with entertainment from Joseph Joyce, who sings what? Luther Vandross, woo, 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 woo. And we also
Oh, I hope that's not how you sing. Oh, boy, Lord help us.
Gina, don't do that. You know, woo, 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 woo.
We also have the infamous Yvette, who will be bringing us back with Whitney Houston. So there's entertainment, there's networking.
I thought you'd get to sing that.
Yes, what you did woo 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 for Luther. Where's
Uh-uh.
All right, continue, finish.
Y'all asked for it, you got it.
Yeah, you're right.
Greg asked for it.
I know. I'm sorry.
But maybe our next author can sing a song for, I don't know, but I didn't do a great job. But okay, that's all right. But we bring it on the beautiful author Tamika Strickland. Yes, she is no stranger to Dope Living.
Hello, everybody.
What's going on?
Marcella.
Controls, Gina.
Mo B.
Hey.
Controls.
Greg.
I can't hear you.
I said, Gina, let me do the controls. I almost put her back off as soon as you put her on.
Oh, I'm sorry. But you know what? Tamika's the author of Identity Deception, From Wounds to Worship.
Mm-hmm.
And,
all right.
That book has been nominated 2024 for the Distinguished Authors Guild. So she's a nominee that will find out on November 10th if she wins in her category. All right.
Okay.
We also have, and I'm telling you, he is taking social media by storm. Every time I cut on my social media, my Facebook, Instagram, he's there. So he's doing his thing. We are talking about Author Jay Vinson. And the name of his book is Moving Past Your Pain, Making the Journey Towards Your Destiny.
Okay.
If that don't have a nice ring to it, I don't know what does.
Okay.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Well, and now, I got to say this. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just saying thank you all for having me tonight.
Mm-hmm. It's our
I gotta
pleasure.
say this. Gina kind of set me and you up, Mo, because both of these wonderful people, they're ministers, and so I can't do what I do.
No, Mo, don't let me put you in that category because he the only one that's set up. Don't put Mo in there.
You know what? Hey guys, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
What do you want to say, Marcy? You ain't been here. You don't have the right to say.
Okay, cállate la boca, por favor.
Yeah,
okay, so what I would like to say, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Maybe again.
Happy birthday.
All right now.
Happy birthday, Mo.
Mo living his best life, y'all. Mo living
always
his life.
and forever.
That is a blessing.
It is
How old are you, Mo?
Thank you.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mo.
All these authors coming in here. Y'all better come on.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? They have I know I'm an author, so I know the journey is not easy getting from pen and paper to a published book. So I want to start off with Author Strickland. You tell us about your journey.
Well, my journey began when I went to it was a writing retreat, and I was so caught up in everything that was going on around me and just being around all these motivated authors. I was like, yes, why not? I have a testimony. I have a story. So when I went back, and this was actually in Texas. So when I went back home, I just began to type, and I continued to type. And eventually, my testimony, God birthed out my story. And it was a blessing. It took like 2 years because it's funny, my auntie, God rest her soul, when I gave her the rough draft, she was like, Meek, you gotta go deeper. I was like, really, auntie? I thought I was done. So I went back And my book, God birthed that book out. Identity Deception, from Wounds to Worship, the raw life story of evangelist Tamika Strickland. And I'm thankful for that.
Wow. Man, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is.
Very deep. And I'm going to tell you, because my publisher came at me the same way. Go back and put some meat on that book. And I had been writing my books for 5 years. And she told me to go back to square one. And I had to think about it for about 3 or 4 weeks before I said, okay, I'm going to do it, because I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that. So I know how you felt, Tamika, going back and having to rewrite, and you think you're done, and mentally you're done. And so it's hard to jump back in there and start back over. So I truly, truly feel you. What about you, Jay? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, that you went on a spiritual journey. You answered the call that was given to you, that came to you. So that's a beautiful thing. You can't go wrong with that.
Well, when he called you, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Amen. You can run.
You can't hide.
Right.
On me.
Man, and you had somebody to inspire you and push you and be honest with you. Yeah. That's the thing. People, you know, your friends will say, oh, you know, that's great, and the book is not great, but they'll say it's great, and you think it's great, but your aunt was honest enough to tell you you need to work on it some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what authors need.
And here you are,
nominated.
And that's the type of people everyone needs in their life, because like you just said, Jenny, you have a lot of people because they're your friend or they're your family, and they don't want to hurt your feelings, or, oh girl, that's good, and then you put out something that is like mediocre or even worse, you know. And I suggest that authors make sure they show let others read their books. Not just one person, not just two people. And if you know that's a yes person that's just going to agree with you because they're close to you, don't give them that book. I am a book reviewer for DAG, and I can't tell you the books that I've read that are excellent books, but there's so many grammatical errors and misspellings in the book, whereas they can't be nominated. But if it was the book was correct, so if they allowed someone to read it and give them constructive criticism, and for them to take that constructive criticism and be like, okay, let me look back at this, let me chew on that, let me go back over it, and then have someone else different read it, they would have award-winning books, because technically they're award-winning, but there are too many errors. And that's a disservice to other people, because I'm the type, if I'm looking at a book and there's so many misspellings and grammatical errors, I'm going to put the book down. Only because it's DAG. Will I continue to read them? And I am an avid reader. I can read several books in a night and be really interested and like, oh my God, what's next? What's next? What's next? Oh, I need a sequel to this. So I like how you listen to your aunt. And then because you might have to do some revisions.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give Marcy an opportunity to talk about what she does as a reader and the criteria. But before we do that, I want to talk to Jay a little bit, because I got a feeling, Jay, your book is from the heart as well. You coming from a personal space too. When I listen to the title, Moving Past Your Pain, Making the Journey Towards Destiny, maybe it wasn't you who inspired it. Maybe it was your experience. Just tell us what inspired you to write a book like that.
Yes, ma'am. I'll say the year before I was born, my family had experienced a tragic death. My mother had lost her sister due to someone breaking out of prison and basically murdering her in the presence of her then 2 year and a half year old son. And the following year I was born. And even throughout the time where I was being brought up, my family had a hard time of actually moving past their pain of losing their loved one. And even when I got in my teenage years of actually being in high school, I was involved in playing sports, played football, was involved in fellowship Christian athletes, also was involved in ministry at my local church. And even throughout my time in high school, I had to pass 5 parts of the graduation exam, which was required for us to graduate on time with our graduation class in Alabama, where I'm originally from. And it was one part that I was struggling with the most, which is the reading part. And it took everybody praying for me, but I really wasn't applying myself studying and praying to God like how I should have. And even with me being in ministry, I still wasn't applying myself by actually applying my faith and trusting God and praying to God like how I should have. But it was one last time where I had to actually pass the test, which was in the spring year of my senior year. And that's when I began to get serious with my prayer life and even with my journey with God. And that's when God answered my prayer of allowing me to pass my graduation exam. One last part, which was the reading part, and I was able to graduate on time with my graduation class. And ever since,
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. That's beautiful.
and ever since, I'll say this: like, I was going through painful situations then because I was trying to keep up with my fellow classmates of going to a major university. Even though I didn't start out at a major university, I had to start out at a smaller university. And then that's when I transferred to the major university where I received my undergrad degree from, which is Auburn University in Alabama. And that's when, ever since, I've just been doing great things with the help of God. And even since then, I was elevated to be the pastor of the local church where I currently serve at in Alabama.
Wow.
And that happened during my junior year, where my grandmother, she was the pastor, and she passed away in 2012 after her baby son passed away in the beginning of the year in January. So all of these were like painful situations that I had to overcome because of how close I was with these individuals. And fast forward, like I just began to see a lot of other people who were going through different things and how they had to bounce back from adversity and move past their pain. How a lot of people were battling depression. Even with what I do now as an educator, I see a lot of students, especially our young boys who are going through a lot of things, and even our young girls, they're going through a lot of things where they are battling depression as well, because some of them may come from a single parent home where they may not even know where their next meal may come from. So they're going through adversity and painful situations. And even in 2020, where we all had to work from home due to COVID, that's when I began to actually write a lot of things down. And then God gave me the vision to actually write my first book. And then I wrote another book, wrote 2 books within the same year. And this is my 3rd book here, Moving Past Your Pain, which was released last year in 2023. And this is nothing but a vision from God that God had birthed within me in the middle of a pandemic. And
wow,
I saw my colleagues in the faith write books, but I mean, God told me to start writing, and I just listened to the voice of God and just began to write. And all the books that I have published have really been a huge inspiration to people who have read the book.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you a question, bro. Do you feel, I mean, you named your book Moving Past Your Pain. During that writing process, do you feel that you've moved past your pain?
Yes, sir, I have.
And has it been a useful tool for the family to read to help them get past their pain?
Yes, sir, it has. Even my mother, with her losing her sister, being murdered by a gentleman who broke out of prison, she found it hard to forgive the individual. But as she just said not too long ago, she forgave the man. And she knew that as being a Christian, a believer, she had to learn how to forgive.
Yeah.
and
Mm.
it wasn't easy. Now, if we were to go back to 2020, as I talked about in the book, I used this story as a analogy to actually paint a picture about what my mother went through. I talked about Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down in Brunswick, Georgia, by these two individuals,
Right.
and
Yeah.
how his parents had to go through this situation. But just like they had to go through that situation, my mother went through the same situation, and over time, she began to move past her pain. It didn't happen overnight, but uh, I don't know who tuning in tonight, but I don't know what somebody may be going through tonight. But you just have to know that what you're going through right now, whether if it's losing a loved one or whatnot, uh, it's not going to happen overnight, but in due time, you'll be able to move past your pain. But that's what my mother had to overcome. And I know that that's what the family of Ahmaud Arbery families had went through. And I mean, like, that's what really prompted me to write the book after I heard that story in 2020, even though 3 years later, I just used different analogies and stories to talk about how people can move past their pain. But I'd say overall, all in all, the biggest thing is depression, because we all know that what COVID brought a lot of depression, not just within the African American community, but even every community.
Right.
I
Right.
always thought that COVID was a catalyst to show how much we need each other, you know?
Yes.
And, it was one of those things where we found out, we think we don't need each other, but we found out real short. It didn't take a year,
Mm-hmm.
or, but we need each other.
We
So,
do.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Man, that I feel like I'm at church tonight.
uh-oh.
I'm telling you.
Jay,
I-
go ahead.
Go ahead, Marcy.
I'd
You
like
have
to
the
speak
floor.
on what you're speaking on. I've experienced that January 2012 as well. My only child, my 27-year-old son, was murdered by a racist cop. And I am a Christian. It is not easy to forgive, but we know our word says that if we don't forgive, he won't forgive. And it took me some time. And since then, I've had to minister to other parents and families who have lost loved ones. And what you wrote about is very much needed, because what the question I hear a lot is, if our God, how can our God, being such a great God, allow these things to happen? And and it's like, okay, my son was not doing anything wrong, the color of his skin, you know, um, your story, other stories. It could be a car accident. It can be a storm. I'm with the
Yeah.
Red Cross. So when I go, I'm a second responder. When there are fires and tornadoes and things of that nature, I'm called and I'm there with the first responders. Just a couple of days ago, I had a fatality and I had a family. I'm not supposed to pray. I'm a Christian. I will ask, do you mind if I pray? I don't, I'm sorry. It's against the rules, but that's just what's in me. And they're asking me, why would God allow something like this? And it's like, especially if it's something where someone was murdered or something, they're like, well, I would never forgive. And like you said, it takes time. One thing that I hate to hear people say, well, this happened this time or that time. And it might not be a death. It could be someone wronged someone and you're still grieving. It could be a relationship and you're grieving that relationship because of someone you were in love with, someone you trusted you gave your heart to, and they've crushed it. But we have to learn to forgive. And sometimes it does take a while. I like
Right.
what I'm hearing from both of you with your books. It is much needed. Kudos to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Same
Thank you.
here. I want to know, Tamika, how have your book impacted people? Because that's the purpose, right? We get books out there to help others. Just as we write them, we're helping ourselves. That's therapy for us. So how has yours impacted other people?
Let me tell you, that book, I had parents that will come to
Mm.
me asked me what my story was, how did you go through the process? And at first I had to say that I needed to get saved first, right? Once I got saved, I wasn't really meditating on the word. It was just something that was drawing me to God because I started out in a recovery process. See, the recovery process is different. It's all about the higher power, right? And I believe if I would have stayed in the recovery process, now this is just my testimony, I wouldn't have come in, I would be still in a homosexual lifestyle. But once I got saved and I began to meditate on the word, the surgery of the spirit was happening. I still was dressing as that man. I was still identifying because my mind wasn't being renewed. But once my mind was renewed and people could actually see the evidence, people started to ask questions. One thing that a lot of parents have to understand, please let go of the guilt and the shame. Stop holding that. A lot of parents say, well, I feel this, I feel that. Like, why? Why my child? Why not? We were all born into sin and shaping into iniquity. These are the things that have happened, right? So then you open up this spirit of perversion, and it I can go in on that. There are so many levels that I can talk about as far as that. But people are always coming to me saying, I may not identify with the homosexuality, but I identify with the abandonment, the rejection, no self-esteem, no self-worth. And they would ask me these things. And I would tell them that it's a process. Not to be hard on yourself, because unfortunately, not everybody is going to say yes. I gave an eternal yes to God. And my pain that I was dealing with, when I prayed to God, I asked God to take away my pain. I didn't think he was going to take away a lifestyle that I was in for 30 years. I didn't think that was going to happen. But this is the type of God that I live for. Once I just surrendered, I was running majority of my life, Gina. I had people coming to me, oh, well, you need to let go of this and you need to let go of that. But when I read Romans 1, God's wrath on unrighteousness, honey, I saw my depraved mindset that I walked in, I talked in, and I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Think about the things that we all go through. Think about the pain that we all have lived through. And when you get tired, then you surrender. Because as she was saying about the forgiveness piece, I had to forgive little Meek Me. Because I felt like no one loved little Meek Me. No one understood little Meek Me. Why did I have to get sexually molested? Why? These things happen. But I understand today that is a platform for ministry. So the people, men and women that come to me, not everybody, let me tell you something. Not everyone believes what I believe. But I have my belief. I had to learn to grow to that point because you feel insecure, you feel shaky, all these different emotions that you go through. But when you really surrender, Gina, and the word becomes flesh to you and you only, then I was able to understand what God was talking about for my life.
Woo, preach.
That was your destiny, right?
For my life.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Had to go through what
And
had
that-
to go through. Yep.
Hey, what did I tell you
Right.
before the show started, though, Tamika? Got to go through something to get to something. That's what
That's
the show's
right.
about. So,
Absolutely.
hey, you absolutely hit it on point.
Woo!
As
That's
far
her
as what
truth.
this show is about.
That's her truth.
I'm telling you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Yes. Let me ask you, Jay, because Jay, you look so young. You look so young. I want to know I want to know how people embrace you as a pastor, a minister, being so young, because the youngsters tell that when you're young and you're trying to give advice or minister to older people, they feel like, I know more than you. So how do you embrace that?
I was looking at him like, he talking about high school.
Boy.
Did you just come out?
Right.
Yeah, little boy.
Right.
Little boy, how you embrace that, little boy?
Wow.
Well, I started pastoring when I was a junior in college, undergrad.
Wow.
All right.
So, I mean, I was pastoring a traditional church. Pretty much the demographics, the age-wise, it was much older than me. At first, it was very hard and challenging. And as I began to grow and began to just get connected to the right people who are in ministry, that's when I began to just realize that God had called me to ministry. People didn't call me, but God called me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just began to just not focus so much on the age bracket, but just do my assignment with what God has called me to do. And whether if some people like the ministry that God's given me, whether if some people don't like the ministry that God's given me, I still have to do what God had called me to do. And
that's right.
As I got older, age-wise, and continue to grow in the faith, a lot of people have actually grown within the ministry that God has given me, and they're way much older than me. I will say this: my ministry style is very much of a teacher, and that's why I'm a school teacher today, because that's just what God told me to do. A lot of people have told me to actually change my style, but I just basically have told them that I can't be nobody else. I got to be who God's called me to be.
Amen.
And as long as you be who God has called you to be and be real authentic in your calling, you're going to begin to see how other people are going to actually gravitate towards your ministry that God has given you. And that's what God has really blessed me with. And people have been gravitating towards the ministry, not just at a local church, but even on these different platforms that we have, like social media wise. And I will say this: it was one gentleman who was actually, I believe he's from Houston, Texas, but he moved to Florida. Caucasian guy. He knows a good friend of mine from college. And my good friend of mine, we actually started a podcast back in 2020 during COVID. And as we was doing the podcast, he would always tune in to the podcast that we had. And I remember one time, and I talked about this in the book, Moving Past Your Pain. I talked about how this gentleman reached out to me through Instagram in my DM direct message. And he told me, thank you all for doing the podcast, because he felt like giving up on life altogether. And if me and my best friend wouldn't have listened to the Holy Spirit by actually starting that podcast, I mean, we
would have reached him.
Wouldn't have reached him.
So do you think that you're charged to do this, okay? Because people tell these stories like that, and they get really, I guess everybody comes to them, and then once you do one, you're expected to basically, I don't want to say heal, but you're expected to encourage others. All right. Do you see sometimes that people come to you even when you are having bad times yourself? Okay. How do you juggle that? Okay. You're having a bad time. People are coming to you and asking you because of what you've done. You feel me, Marcy? I know you feel me. How do you juggle that? How do you balance that?
That's a great question. I would say probably just my relationships with people who I trust, and especially with what I'm going through personally. I know that they have my full support and my back, and I can really just talk to them about things I'm going through. So I know I have a support system with people that I'm connected with, especially with what I'm going through. But when those individuals who come to me for help, even with what I'm currently going through, I mean, I still help them out, and I basically just basically take on the responsibility, not just being a minister, but even I'm also a certified life coach, where I basically
Mm.
a lot of
All
people.
right.
So
Yes.
I mean, I'm in the season I'm in. I'm big on having relationships with people, and I know that a lot of young people tend to gravitate toward me as well. And even the school I work at, like a lot of young people may be going through something, and they may see me, and they always stop me, and we always hold a conversation. And even if I'm down or whatnot, they currently see that I may not be upbeat or up the part like I normally am, and they always ask me, "Is everything okay?" So that tell me that they basically are watching me, and as they're watching me, I'm basically still pouring into them, and not just these individuals, but everybody else that I have worked with and mentored and coached. A good prime example. There's a pastor friend of mine who wanted me to mentor his son, and he was going through adversity on the football field, and I just had to reach out to him and just encourage him throughout the entire season. And that entire season, with what he was going through, he ended up bouncing back from a game where the team or the people thought he caused them to lose the game, but in reality, it was a team effort in which the team lost. I just had to encourage him the whole season, and he ended up bouncing back from the adversity he was going through. So I say it really goes both hand in hand, both ways. Like I have a support system, and those individuals have a support system when they come to me for advice.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
I ain't mad at you, little boy.
Thank you, thank you.
But you know what one thing that you're saying, Jay, is God is using you and telling you to meet those young individuals where they are. And we need ministers out there that can relate to the young people. We need the
Oh,
ministers
yes.
that can relate to the older people, the middle age. And so, sometimes, you hear those what they call them gospel raps, and a lot of people say that they shouldn't be rapping with gospel songs, this and that. But the young
That same
people are
thing said
singing
about
them.
Edwin Hawkins too.
The young people are singing them. And if that's a way to reach them, what's wrong with that? You know? So I don't see anything wrong with it. But I do want to take a minute for Marcy to talk about the criteria that's used to evaluate the books, because she is one of the readers. And what are some of the things you go through, Marcy?
Well, the first thing is when you're looking at the cover, does it attract you? Is it a book that you're gonna say, oh, wait a minute, what is this? Let me look at this. Then you look at the back cover to look at what the book is supposed to be about. I've had books that had one thing saying what the book is about, and then as I'm reading the book, I'm going back to the back, and I'm like, okay, wait, I still don't see what they're saying the book is about. It does not correlate with the title, and it's just all over the place. Like I said earlier, grammatical errors, misspellings, things of this nature. Does it keep my attention? Is it something that I think other people would really want to read? And we have all genres of books. So whether it's something that I'm interested in, I still have to read this book and figure out, is this something I think people that are interested in this topic would like? And then I also look at the font. I look at the paper. Sometimes there's been books where the font is so tiny that even with my readers on, I'm like, pulling out a magnifying glass trying to see it. So these are some things that you need to look at. Is it are you trying to be so fancy where the font is so fancy you can't even really read what the words are? Does it make sense? And those are some of the criteria that we have to look at when we're reviewing the books.
Right, right. So Marcy has been a reader since 2020. So she has this down packed by now.
She's been a
And
reader since the Middle Ages. Come on, man.
but one of
You're
the
older
things
than me.
that I get from Marcy and other readers, not just Marcy, I always get, hey, I just read this book. It was phenomenal. It was such a great book, but there were errors. Can we push it through? And the answer has to be no. Because how many times have you read an award-winning book with errors in it?
All right, but
How
Gina,
is it an award-winning book?
Come on, Gina. But see, you got to give everybody
TWO instead of TO or TOO.
And see, and Mark, I mean, you guys are right. I mean, that's absolutely right. You wanna present your best foot, you know. For but on the other side of that is how do you distinguish between the teaching them, you know, because you don't communicate with them. You read the book and say, sorry, you're not a winner. You got to teach them as well, right? You got to show them, well, hey, this is why you're not a winner, you know?
Well, I don't give feedback unless the author asks me for feedback, because people are very personable about their books. It's like you're talking about their child. And,
but you know,
okay, but if your
they
child
might
ugly,
not be
if your
open
child
to
ugly,
it.
I'm gonna tell you your child ugly.
Greg,
you might get hit in the eyeball.
That came out
but you know
wrong,
what,
man,
Gina?
because I'm sorry.
I think, and you and I have discussed this before. I'm in agreement with Greg. Oh Lord, help us. But I'm in agreement with Greg on that point. I would say that possibly like after the award show, meeting with, whether it's virtual or in person, if you can, not the same day, of course, but talking with the authors and letting them know, give them the feedback, because that's constructive criticism. Let them know you're not a failure because you did not win this award. We're all more than conquerors, all of the authors, because they have written a book, whether there were errors or not. They've taken that time. They've gone out there to actually write a book. Writing a book is not easy at all. I have testimonies on top of testimonies. My pastor has gotten on me about, when are you writing your books? Plural.
Yes,
so it's not
Marcy,
easy, but you need, ain't no but to it. You really need to give these people constructive criticism. Let them know, tell it to them in love. They need to know this, because possibly they can go back, revise that book. They might think, oh, I'm all this, I'm all that. Let them know about all of the software. If they get upset, you know what? Oh, well, you're trying to help them. If there's, because you do have people out there, I don't want to hear that. And they're going to continue to have these books that eventually no one's going to want to read. They're not going to pay to read a book when they know it. Oh, here's that author that can't spell. Here's that author
Marcy,
with all grammatical errors.
I know she's going to go on and on and on.
I am.
It'll be 8 o'clock.
Respectfully.
No, the reason I don't, if the author comes to me, and I have had authors come to me and say, why didn't my book make it? Because if you're an author and you want feedback, you're going to go and ask for feedback. I'm not going to give feedback to individuals if they don't ask, because some people do not take constructive criticism. Now, I let them know throughout the whole process, they're winners whether they won or not. Not only that, but I show it to them with action, because even though they don't win, we still assist them throughout. We still are helping them throughout, even way past the event. You know, we just, because I'm building a community, and whether they win or not, if there's a platform they want to get on, I help them do that. You know, Greg, you have helped them with films and things. So regardless of whether they win, they are winners regardless. But if they want feedback, they need to come ask me for feedback, and I will gladly give it. But I'm not going to give that feedback unless it's asked.
And I feel you, Gina. Real quick, hold on, Mo. Bobby Structure says, I'm receiving flow of support from the show. I'm in a new space and eager for mentorship. Carolyn says, Jay Vinson is a prolific and profound life coach, mentor, and speaker. Book him for your next men's seminar. Is that your PR agent do? By contacting him on FB, IG, and TikTok. Go ahead, Mo.
I was just going to say, I mean, you're doing them a disservice if you don't tell them the truth. I mean, there's nothing worse.
Tell them the truth.
I know. But I'm saying, you know, some people say, no, you shouldn't say it. You shouldn't. give that advice. I can remember being in managing groups, and it's doing them a disservice if they get on stage and they look goofy, and they wonder why people ain't feeling it when they're on stage, and then you're doing, oh, that was good, you're doing them a disservice. They can't grow if you lying to them.
Well, see, here's the thing.
But I'm not lying to them.
No. That's an example.
Mo, here's the thing too. A lot of these authors are not as seasoned as some of the authors that are winning. Okay, so thus they are going to come with these grammatical errors and some of these word phrases that are wrong in this and that, right? But to Gina's point, Gina does give them a lot of extras. Okay, me personally, I would love to see before the award show, Gina. It's just me. Maybe we can add it next year. A seminar with like Marcy was talking about, a seminar just saying, hey, look, it's an author's training set. Let's call it like that. Nobody is an expert at any of this. Okay, period.
Natalie Murphy has that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, but it needs to be proactive as opposed to reactive. You know what I'm saying? That's just.
But it's going to be proactive because the book is already written, so it's going to be proactive regardless.
But if it's
reactive,
already written,
if you're helping them through the writing process, so it's already proactive.
So look, Jay.
I'm sorry,
Tamika,
reactive.
Jay, Tamika, what do y'all think about that? Tamika, you first.
Well,
I
know for me, when I didn't win last year, I was embarrassed. I felt like, and it didn't even have anything to do with errors. I was just embarrassed. I was like, this is your book. What happened? And I went through embarrassment. I went through rejection. I went through, and I was angry. But it's funny because God brought someone right before they announced the winners, Dr. Barbara Whitehead, and she spoke life. And it almost like centered me because everyone wants to be a winner. But I understand now in hindsight that I'm a winner regardless because
you completed the book.
This book did, it helped others, young, old. It helped others. So, but I had to go through some stuff to get to another place. I had to go through the healing process.
That process helped that book get in front of a lot of people that it wouldn't have normally got in front of.
Which is another benefit of the show, okay?
Right. But this is one thing that is taught though, because we have a lot of our authors. Natalie Murphy, she has a boot camp. She has a pen to paper. Authors have to realize that they have to invest in themselves. And that means hiring an editor. If you don't do that, then you're the one that's giving yourself an injustice. Right. Because you have to invest money in your book in order for it to be a good book and error-free. And so authors have to realize, I got to spend money on an editor to read my book and make sure there are no errors, because I can read my book 20 times and I will not see those errors in that book because my mind is going to tell me the word that's supposed to be there.
Right.
And that's why it's difficult to try to edit and read your own book. Now, there is an author that I ran into at one of the book fairs last week. His book did not win. His book was one of the books that the authors called me up and say, this is such a great book. Please, let's nominate it. And we did not. He asked me for feedback. He is now rewriting his book. That very same book, he's rewriting it. He told me at the book fair, he said, when you told me that I had errors in my book, I went back and I read my book and I could not believe the errors that I saw. He said, as a matter of fact, I won another award and I'm trying to figure out, how did I win this award? That's
and
the
you know what,
he said to me.
And that's why I said it. I think it's imperative to give constructive criticism. Now, if they want to take it and listen to it and check out what you're telling them or not, because then they can maybe possibly, if they're really serious about writing, they might decide to revise the book. But Tamika, know that even that, and I know you said you've grown from that, from last year when you didn't win. Know that there are several books in the same genre as you. So there's going to always be some people that have a better book from what people think that might be a better book than yours. But then there's going to be some that their books aren't as good as yours. And like we said, you're a winner regardless, because you have gone through actually finishing the book. So it might not necessarily be that you don't have a good book. There might just have been something, hey, maybe we can just choose one or two out of that genre, and yours just happened at that time not to be chosen. But that does not mean that it's not an award-winning book.
Let's not focus on the errors and grammatical errors and this and that. Let's focus on the person that wrote the book. Period. Okay, their emotions and their feelings. Tamika just said she felt bad when she lost last year. Okay, so how do you it's a lot of stuff. Nobody likes losing, right? You want to know exactly why this happened. Okay, maybe the flow of the book, and Marcy, we've talked before about this. Maybe the flow of the book wasn't going right. Not just the grammatical errors. Maybe the like you said, Marcy, the cover wasn't, as appealing as you think it should have been.
But you know what? It might have been 30 books in that genre. It might have been 30 books, and they had to choose one or two.
We get to that point where, and this has happened before in the past, where there are 2 or 3 books that are just as good as each other, and we have to pretty much do a eeny, meeny, miny, mo in order to choose a book, because they're all good, but we can only choose one.
Yes.
But you know what, though?
And we have crossed that road many a times where we had more than one book that we wanted to choose all of them because they were all just as good, but we had to only choose one.
And I hope, Gina, that during this whole process of doing this, especially with the 2 weeks that we're giving these authors to come and communicate and tell everybody what they're doing, that we can learn and continuously throw these gems out for these authors, that they can get better. And next year when they do apply to get on the award show, because this is one of the only award shows that you guys are going to get a chance to get on. If you check, there's not many literary award shows, okay, for in this nature. So the Distinguished Authors Guild is doing their thing. November the 10th is when it is, okay. Jay Vinson, Tamika Strickland, we appreciate you guys coming to the show, hanging out with us, all right. We go around the room at the end of the show every time for everybody to say a couple of words of wisdom, all right?
Yes.
Tamika, let's start with you.
I just thank God for the opportunity to be on this broadcast. I thank you, Gina, Marcella, Jay, Mo, Greg, and I thank God for who he is in my life. I thank God for the process. I thank God for the nomination. I thank God that whatever his will is for the information to get out for my book, I'm thankful that I'm able to be on this broadcast just to talk honestly about just life and what happens, the good and the not so good. But I thank God because he gave me the opportunity just to stand tall, repeat the process, learn from the process, and grow from the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Amen. Jay Vinson, what you got?
Well, I just want to thank you, Greg. Thank Miss Gina, Miss Marcella. I want to also thank Tamika as well for joining me tonight. Also, is it Mo? Mo B.
Yep, it's Mo. Mo B.
Thank you as well tonight, and but thank you all for the nomination. Most importantly, as Greg just said that, and you all have said that we all are winners. Whether if we win or not, we all are winners because we have finished the book that we have written and the vision that God has given us to actually write. I just want to thank God first for the vision that he has given me to be a 3-time author of three powerful books, and I'll say that to whoever is watching tonight, whatever God gives you, God gives you a vision. Don't sit down and don't throw the vision to a side, but basically just work the vision until it actually comes to perfection. So many times we want things overnight, but we have to realize that everything is not going to happen overnight. But if God gives you a vision, I'd say work the vision, but most importantly, write the vision and make it plain. Because when you write the vision and make
Amen.
it plain, then you're going to begin to see exactly what your vision and what your calling is. I know that Tamika just mentioned her book. My book is Moving Past Your Pain. Um, it's on my website at www.jvinson.org. So in my closing, I am in the process of about to get ready to launch a seminar and workshop for our men, student athletes, athletic coaches, clergy, as well as educators as well. So I'm in the process of coming out with a workbook for that. It's called Moving Past Your Pain, and be having seminars and workshops for those individuals.
Nice
That's
job.
what's up. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro. Vincent. Mo, what you got, bro?
Man, look, it was a beautiful night. It was a beautiful night. And we just now starting to realize, I mean, with more authors that we meet, that we all have a destiny and we have to. I mean, in order to be successful, you have to follow that destiny. We all have a place on this planet, and we do need each other.
Marcy.
Okay, I had to write mine down because I can be long-winded. Okay. All right.
No, not Marcy.
You don't say.
Okay, what I have to say, authors, ask for constructive criticism. Some of it you might have to put on the shelf and let it marinate a little bit, pull it back down, and listen to constructive criticism. Whatever you do, don't give up. Also, I pray that God continues to bless you guys and the other authors as well. I ask that God download ideas for more books, give you strength and wisdom to minister to his people. I also ask that God meet all of your needs, and that I pray that God put the right people in your path to help you guys to continue to soar.
Absolutely.
Nice
Gina.
job, Marcy.
Amen.
Man, I needed you guys on here tonight. I really did. I came in here all sweaty, and y'all know I went through something today. But I'm telling you, you guys took me to church. You are so inspiring, the two of you. It just so happened God put the two of you on the panel together.
Same day, yeah.
That's the way it came out. We have about 14, I don't know, about 18 authors that are coming through Dope Living TV with this past week and next week. And you guys happen to be on here together for a reason. And you sent out such strong words tonight. It moved me, and I'm in a better place. If nobody else is not,
Amen.
I am in a better place. And I want to thank you guys. But I'm telling you, the relationships that DAG is bringing together is what makes me keep pushing harder and harder every year, because those relationships are lasting relationships. Tamika and I have been in contact since she started with DAG last year, and we have built a bond. She pick up the phone and call me. She pray for me. I pick up the phone and I talk to her. She give me encouragement. I give her encouragement. And that is what DAG is all about. Yes, everybody wants to win, but I believe the relationships and the networking and the community that it brings is so much bigger. And I am so proud, and I thank God every day for giving me the strength to do this, because this is not an easy job. But when I hear authors like you guys and all the authors that are in DAG, it gives me the inspiration to keep going. So thank you all.
So let me say this real quick. Again, the Distinguished Authors Guild is November the 10th. It's at Theater 47. I got it right this time. Okay.
You got it. Not
We want
54,
everybody to-
y'all. Don't go looking for 54.
I want everybody to come through, hang out, and learn this craft. Okay. I don't speak on being an author. I ask questions so that I could learn as well. But that's the thing. Marcy said it. You got to learn. You got to study your craft. Anything that you do, study your craft. All right. So shout out to you, Minister Tamika, Minister Jay. Thank you guys for coming on and inspiring everyone to not only do better at this, but do better in life, period. Okay, we appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with us. Also, I'm going to throw, I didn't say it with everybody else because I got to be by myself. I got to throw a nice big shout out. This guy right here, Mo B, we've been best friends for over 50 years, I think. And I'm telling you, man,
I'm sorry, Mo.
This guy's tried and true. Y'all can say what y'all want. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Mo has always, we've been through the trenches together. We was buffing bosses, okay, when we didn't have no money. All right, we buffed some floors, okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know how when you know.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Right.
When somebody. Wait a minute. How come I didn't talk through y'all? Why y'all doing me?
I'm sorry.
That's crazy, man. That's all right. DopelivenTV 9, man. You know what I'm saying?
I love you too, bro.
Man,
Love you, Mo.
I love you, Mo.
Crazy.
We love
That's
you, Mo.
crazy.
You know we love you.
That's great. And I'm not getting no after party or nothing like that. I'm off, okay? Anyway, I'm mad now.
You are such a brat.
I'm not a brat because I'm sincerely trying to do this and give
Go
my man
ahead, bro.
props. All right? Sincerely trying to give my man his props. And my birthday's next weekend. I don't want y'all to do a damn thing. Anyway.
You don't know. We
I
might.
want y'all to
We
do
gonna
a
show
damn-
up and
matter of
show
fact,
out.
I'm not even coming on.
Don't.
I'm not coming on next week.
We love you, Greg.
Anyway, thank you, Minister.
Love you. Ain't nothing you can do about
Oh,
it.
his spoiled, rotten, ruined.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming to the show. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm quite sure that the audience appreciated it. Okay, it's going to grow. The Distinguished Author Guild is going to grow, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we hope that everyone, authors that are out there, you learned a little bit from this conversation. We got a whole week of conversations coming up next week. So stay tuned, get inspired, get educated, get informed, and get entertained. Okay, this is Dope Living TV Live, man, with you guys. Well, actually, I'll be on tomorrow. Me and Mo will be on tomorrow.
I was just getting ready to say, don't forget.
We got that pop locking dude coming on tomorrow. Okay, so
Pop locking Dracula.
I'm gonna try to make that, y'all. I'm gonna try to make that one.
Marcy, I don't know.
I used to love pop locking.
I'm coordinating a wedding. I got to decorate tomorrow. So
What?
Be glad you ain't coming to this.
Say that again, Gina.
No, I'm joking. This
I used to love pop locking.
Hey, hold on.
I would love to see that. Uh-oh.
Go, Greg. Go, Greg. Go, Greg.
Oh, that's funny. All right, hey, this is Dope Living TV now.
Thank you, guys.